Page 258. Questions. Problems you want to see work. We'll do as many of them as we can get done as long as people are paying attention. Then when people quit paying attention, Matt, quiz time. Not sure why these desks keep me. Huh? 11. Number 11. One of you's got your book out. Help me out because I can't read that and do everything.
Nicole Burley purchases 6 quarts of motor oil at $1.79.
All right, so it's 6 times $1.79, right?
Yeah.
When I get done putting all this up here, make sure you got your calculators out so you can do it.
Per quarter, 8 spark plugs at 4 for $7.99.
Now, some of this, you got to know this. When you go to AutoZone or somewhere to buy spark plugs, they going to sell you one spark plug? Not usually. Now, sometimes they will if you're buying, for a mower or something like that. You can buy one spark plug. Usually they come in either packs of 4 or packs of 8. All right? And if they have to split up a pack, like let's say you have a 6-cylinder, if they have to split up a pack, they're probably going to charge you more for those extra 2. They're going to do something to make back their money, all right? I can't say that sure because I don't work at AutoZone. Maybe they've changed it over the years. But this time they say 2 packs of 4, right?
Yeah.
How much for each pack?
$7.99.
So 2 times $7.99. That's a little different there. We're not multiplying by 8 because we're not paying for all 8. We're paying for a pack of them. Which, if we're buying 8, that means we need 2 packs.
2 wiper blades at $13.99 each.
So 2 times $13.99.
4 packs of polishing rags at $2 for $3.99.
So 4 packs, but they're selling them 2 at a time, right? So how many are we actually buying?
5.
2.
Oh.
So 2 times, how much were they for the 2 packs?
$3.99.
Okay.
A can of polish for a $7.55 and an oil filter for $5.99.
Oil filter for how much?
$5.99.
Anybody gonna understand that if I stick that down there? Because I ran out of space. What are we gonna do with all that?
Add it up and
You could punch that into your calculator. Simon's got my calculator right here, and he's gonna grab it and he could punch all that right in there. And you should be doing it right now, because this is where most of you messed up. You punch in something and then the calculator tells you the answer, and automatically you think what? Oh, that's right, the calculator told it to me. Not if for some reason your fingers punch the wrong buttons. Because as I'm looking at this, on number 11, I swear I remember somebody got it was like $800 and some or something. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? Boy, if that's all the stuff I'm buying and I spend $800 and some, something's wrong. I go to AutoZone to buy all this stuff. I'm spending $800 and some. I better get something like a new valves or something.
Transmission.
Right. I'm not buying wiper blades and oil. Anybody get an answer?
76.
76 point what?
22.
Anybody else get that?
yeah.
Is that our answer? That's the cost, right, of all the items. Once we have the cost, what do we do with it? So that's the first step. Once we have the cost, what do we do with it? Is that what they're going to charge you? times it by the sales tax to find the tax, right? Now, if the sales tax is 4%, is that what you guys are telling me?
Yeah.
What do we do to that? Again, a lot of people still getting confused on this. You bump it over twice, so what's that become? 0.04. You gotta do that. That's the only time you're moving the decimal around. You gotta do that before you multiply it. Now, in some of them, you had to add the two taxes together before you moved it over, right? If they have like a city tax and a state tax, or a county tax and a state tax. This time they didn't have that, right?
No, they
It's just one straight tax.
the sales tax rate is 7.5.
Hold on, now I'm confused. So what's the problem say? Is the sales tax 4% or
7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
Yes. That's all right. All right, thank you. I forgot to mark alley caps anyway. So what does it say in the book? Is this 4% or is it 7.5%?
7.5. I looked at that number.
Oh, very good.
So it's 7.5%? That's all right. So what do we do to this?
Do it over time.
Should be 0.00.
So what are we gonna take the 7622 times?
So
0.075. Make sure the decimal's in the right place. Again, a lot of you want to say this every time. Forget that zero out in front. It means absolutely nothing. The only reason it's there is so on your calculators, you know there's a decimal there. Somebody multiply that for us. What is it?
5.71.
5.71. What's 5.71?
Sales tax.
That's the tax. What do we do with that?
Add it to
We gotta add those two together then. We're on page 258, Alec. So we got 7622. That's our tax. That's one of our answers. This was one of our answers. 7622 plus 5.71. What's 8193? That's the total or the final cost. Elijah can handle all that. He's ready. He shut his book. He said, let's go, Ebersole. This stuff's easy. Heck with everybody else. Does everybody understand what we did there? Colby, you can handle that?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
I didn't waste all my time last time.
No.
I must have with Matt. He didn't listen to nothing we said. When I graded his paper, all those answers that he knew he had wrong, guess what he left them at? The wrong answers. Oh, kid.
I thought you wrote down the answer.
Huh?
I wrote that off of this paper. I swear.
Give me another one. 15? 15's one of the harder ones. Let's not do it. 5. Let's just do these because I know what's on the quiz and I didn't put any of the real hard ones on the quiz, I don't think. What's 5 say?
Find the total tax rate, sales tax, and purchase
You
price.
didn't do 5.
That doesn't matter. We can do it anyway. So, would you like 6 through 15?
Oh,
On 5, what's the first thing we're going to do on 5?
total tax rate.
Find the
Total tax rate, right? Now, this is going to give you a percent. Do they give you more than one tax that you got to add together?
Yeah, sales tax.
So what is it? What are the two taxes? So we're gonna add those two. What's that give us? And that's a percent, all right? So that's our first answer, 6.50%. That's just the total tax rate. That's not how, we're not paying $6.50. That's just the percentage that we're paying. Then, what's it give us next? Does it give us a cost, how much we're paying for something?
Sales tax.
You're right, it wants sales tax, right? But how much are we buying? 159.55?
195.
195.
195.55?
Yeah.
What do we gotta do with that?
Add it to, or multiply with that.
What do you gotta do this before you can multiply it by that?
With the decimal.
Bump it over two places, what's that become then?
0.06.
50, we really don't need that zero on the end, right? But you can get rid of it if you want. Somebody help me out. Before you do it on your calculator, about 5%, 10% of this would just be bumped the decimal, would be about $19. 5% should be, if that's $19, almost $20, right? 5% should be about $10. Our answer when we do this should be somewhere around $10.
12.7.
12.7 even? What if you put that answer on this quiz?
Gotta round it up.
Put 7.1.
It's gonna be wrong, right? Because anytime we're dealing with money, how many places behind the decimal? 2. That's the amount of tax. This is the tax rate. This is the actual tax. What do we do to get our third part here?
Added
195.55 plus what?
12.71.
12.71. What's that give us?
208.26.
Say it again.
208.
Again, make sure that your answers make sense. On some of them, if we had done this problem, I got some answers on the papers where you were buying $195 worth of stuff, and people were telling me that the tax on that $195 was going to be like $2,000. You're getting ripped off if you're buying something for $195 and paying $2,000 in tax. That just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Make sure that your answer makes sense. Does this answer make sense? We're buying something for $195 and our final cost as we walk out the door is $208.
Yes.
If you can't see that, please, when I retire from here and I open up my own business, please come into my business so that I can rip you off and make some extra money. All right? If you're going to say, not argue with somebody when you buy something for $200, $195, and they charge you $400 for it after tax and everything, please come see me so that you can give that free money to me. You gotta know some of this stuff, otherwise, Caleb, you know if I seen you come in, I wouldn't rip you off. But is everybody going to be like Ebersole? No. Are they going to rip you off if they get the chance? You better believe it. Because all they got to do, if Quentin catches them, hey, that can't be right. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button here. And then you walk out the door and forget all about it, right? The next Quentin walks through the door, and he doesn't realize it and pays them. They're happy as could be. Next question. No others, we're just ready? You can handle it? Take your tax rate, times it by how much you're paying, whatever the cost of the items are. All right? One thing I will say, I think I put one on here. You gotta remember, when you're taxing something, if it's food, does it get taxed? So when you're doing something like that, if it's got food in it, did any of these problems have food in them that didn't have tax? So let's make up something real quick. Let's say you buy a doll for $10.99. You buy a puzzle for $2.99, and you buy a gallon of milk for $3.29. And in Ohio, what's our tax rate here in Ohio again? 7.25, is that right? That what we said earlier? Something about like that? 7.5? Is it 7.5? What am I going to do to figure out my total bill here? Do I add all these?
No, it's just,
All right, so we'll add the puzzle and the doll. Somebody help me out and do that. $13.98. What do we do with that number? That's the part that gets taxed, right? So what do we do to the 7.5? So we're going to multiply it by that. Somebody help me out. $1.04. Anybody else get that? Does that make sense that there's a dollar tax? Yeah, on $13, $14 worth of tax, that's probably about normal. That would make a little sense. Now what do we do? What all do we add? The milk, 3.29, $13.98, and the 104. We add the non-taxable stuff, the taxable stuff, and the tax all together. That says tax. What's that give us? $19.35. Anybody else get that? Yes, no, maybe? You didn't get that?
I got 18.31.
18.31. Try it again, Alex, to make sure. Alex, didn't you have trouble with this last time, hitting the wrong buttons?
yeah. Well,
I don't know, I didn't get, I got 18.31.
I got 18.31, yeah. Well, I added it, and then I think I added on to my last equation.
You better make sure you're hitting the right buttons.
I hit the button.
All right, hit clear then, or something. Does it make sense if we bought something for $11, something for $3, something else for $3, that our bill would be about $18? That makes sense. Today, unit prices. Colby, while you were out there, did you notice, has Mr. Poole put out the batteries yet?
I don't think
He puts them out at 8:30.
8:30? I won't wait that long. Unit pricing. Unit pricing is a technique that allows shoppers to compare prices of various items. When you go to somewhere like Kroger or Walmart or wherever, when you look at the little sticker, when they get the Caleb's of the world to actually do their job at Walmart, I don't know, does anybody else work at Walmart? You see Caleb there? He's never doing anything. Not that Caleb. Caleb, what's his last name? Brinkley.
Tree?
He never does anything. I see him walking around all the time acting like he's doing something. I'm kidding. He actually looks like he's working more than some of those people, because I walked in there one day and I seen one young man walk in and out of that back door like 10 times while I was in there. He never had anything in his hand, would walk in, 2 or 3 minutes later, walk back out. Walk in, walk out. And I'm like, what are you doing? But when you put these little stickers on the shelves, those little stickers say stuff like they tell the price, whatever the price is, and then they tell some other stuff on there. They tell a number, an order number and stuff for the store. But then they also tell something like this. That's a unit price. What that unit price is telling you how much per ounce, how much per slice of cheese, maybe, how much per whatever it happens to be for that certain product. This always bothers me. Number one, because the federal government, many, many years ago, before you guys were born, forced Walmart, Kroger, all these shopping places to put this number on those stickers because they didn't think that the consumers, you guys, could figure it out well enough themselves. So they thought, oh, well, you're just trying to confuse poor Simon because he can't figure out if this big jar of peanut butter is cheaper than this little jar of peanut butter, or which one's the better buy. All right, so they forced them to put this unit pricing on the little stickers all the time. And I think that's ridiculous. Number one, all they're doing is calling all the consumers idiots, saying you can't do this yourself, so we got to do it for you. That bothers me. All right? And number two, if you as a consumer are an idiot and can't figure out for yourself which it is, nobody else should be figuring it out for you. That's just making it easier for you to get away with not learning something. All right? So you should be able to figure out how much it is. We walk into a store, my wife doesn't even look at these numbers, she just asks me. As we're going down through there, I think last weekend we were in a store and she was buying a thing of tacos. Or it wasn't tacos, it was the flat, like the burrito shells or whatever. And she had one, and this one had 12 in it, and this one had 18 in it. And she wanted to know which one was the better buy. So of course, instead of looking at the sticker, which tells her, she asked me which one of these is the better, and then I have to figure it out and tell her which one's the better buy each time. But you should be able to do that. All unit pricing is telling you how much per item, how much per ounce, how much per gallon, how much per quart that item costs, so you can compare it to other things. One of the main ones, laundry detergent. Laundry detergent, when they finally changed the law and forced these companies to put that on there, laundry detergent was one of the big ones. Because everybody knows if you go to the store and you're buying something like laundry detergent, if you buy the bigger one, you're going to get the better price, right? And that's not the way it works. All right? And I know when I used to go with my mom when I was your guys' age, I'd go with my mom and she would ask me the same questions about which one's the better buy. Of course, someplace like Walmart would have this big display of these great big 20-pound boxes of laundry detergent sitting out in the middle like it was some great deal or something. And when you look at the price for it and compare it to the price for this, if there was 4 of these that could fit in here, it was actually cheaper to buy 4 of these than it was to buy this one big box. Peanut butter is another one where they do that. So when you're looking at this, unit prices, you've got to be able to figure out which one's the better buy. Unit price, the price of the item, divided by the measure or the count. This could be like, it could be gallons, it could be ounces, could be slices, whatever it happens to be for that certain item. There's infinite number of different things it could be. Nothing hard about this. You're just taking the price, whatever the price is, dividing it by this. So let's say we go to Walmart tonight and we buy, can't girl, a 1 liter, that's supposed to be a 1 liter of Mountain Dew. And then right next to it, they got the 2 liters. Anybody goes to Walmart, how much is the 1 liter? Aren't they like $1 each or something? Does that sound right? $1.29. I thought the 1 liters, I thought they were $1.
Oh, 1 liter?
$1. I think they're like $1. If you see them, they're sitting right there, sort of on the end, usually at Walmart. The 2 liters are like $1.95. I think that's what they are, $1.09. Well, no, I think they're more than that now. I think they're like $2.15 now. I think they just went up. At Walmart, they're like $2.15. All you're doing to find the unit price, what's our units going to be for this one? How many units in this one? 1. How many in this one?
2.
So you just take this and divide by 1 and you get, that's $1 per liter. We divide this one by 2. What do we come up with? What's 2.15 divided by 2? About 1 point what? 1.08,
7.
something like around there. Is it cheaper to buy the bigger bottle? Which one's the better buy? The 1 liter is, isn't it? It's a little better buy, right? Now, why might you not want to buy the 1 liter? Why might you buy the 2 liter instead of the 1 liter?
There's more.
More product.
There's more product there, but you could buy 2 of these.
You pay more for.
You wouldn't pay
that.
more, you'd only pay $2. Why would you want to still buy the 2 liter maybe? It's not cheaper. It's more convenient. It's easier to stick that 2 liter bottle in your refrigerator than maybe it is to stick a whole bunch of 1 liter bottles in there, right? So that's what you got to look at when you're looking at this. Is it the 8 cents you're saving better for this? When I buy my 2 liters that I stick in my back room back here to drink, I know that the 1 liters are a little cheaper, but I still buy the 2 liters because that way I don't have to mess with all the bottles over and over again. Comparison shopping. Comparison shopping is when you're comparing comparing prices to find the best value. I don't think most stores do it anymore. It used to be, if you've ever worked as a cashier at any of these stores, used to be that people could bring in ads and stuff from other stores, and those stores had to had the price match. I don't think most stores do that anymore. And the reason that they don't do it, or a lot of the reason they don't do it anymore, is because if you ever notice, like if you're buying something, you're buying something like a shovel from Walmart, and you go over to Menards and buy that same shovel, does it have the same name on it? No. Even though it's the exact same shovel, all they do is they put a different name on it so that you can't comparison shop at Walmart and Menards and Lowe's and stuff like that. It's the exact same shovel made at the exact same place, just as it's coming out of that assembly line, they slap a different sticker on it with a different name. Okay? Some of the same ideas with like a can of corn at Walmart. Buy a can of corn at Walmart, you can get the Walmart brand. I can't remember what it's called now. Great value, yeah. Right? You get that brand or you get some other brand. A lot of times if you look at them, the ingredients and everything on them, everything else on the label is exactly the same except for the name, because they're packaged and stuff. A lot of them are packaged and everything right at the same company. So all you're doing is comparing prices, be able to compare prices to find the best value that you can get. Vince Tucker purchased 25 boxes of paper at $281.58. Each box contained 10 reams. What is the unit price per ream rounded to the nearest tenth of a cent? Now notice on this, even though we're dealing with money, we're not always just going to go out to 2 places behind the decimal. We're going to go out farther than that so that we can compare stuff. What's the first thing we're going to do on this?
281 times 45.
Do we take 281 times 25 this time?
95.
What'd they tell us? 25 boxes for this. Did they already do all that multiplying together? Yeah. If you got 25 boxes, if you go downstairs and you look in the little room where I get my copies and stuff from, you see a paper box in there, right? In that paper box, guess how many of the little packs are in it? 10. There's 10 of them. So if he bought 25 boxes, how many total reams did he buy? How would we figure that out? 25 times 10, what's that give you? So he bought 250 reams of paper. The reams are the little packages of them. Now, what would we do to find the unit price? How much per ream it's going to be? Now, this is where we go back to that formula. Price of the item divided by how many of them there are. Price divided by how many of them there are. So what are we going to divide on, or what are we going to put on top here? 281.58. What are we going to divide it by? 250. Somebody help me out with your calculator. Colby, that calculator's getting lonely, man. Why is it sitting there doing nothing? What is it?
1.12.
1.12. And they want this to go out to a tenth of a penny. A tenth of a cent. Do we just go out 2 places? Go out one more.
1.26.
Now again, this is money, but we still want to go out that extra place because we want to be able to compare this to other places. So we're saying it's $1.12 and about a half a penny for each ring. That's our unit price. Michelle needs to buy food for her dog. She can purchase a 10-pound bag for $14.58, a 25-pound bag for $19.50, and a 50-pound bag for $28.99. Which is the better buy? Right away, most people just guess what? Most people guess because if it's bigger, it's a better buy. Is that always the case? No, that's what my wife does. And it's not so much that she thinks it's a better buy, but she usually gets the bigger bag just because she doesn't want to have to go back and get it again anytime soon. Even though she could buy maybe 2 25-pound bags, or maybe 5 10-pound bags and get it cheaper. What we're going to do here is just find the unit price of each for the 10-pound bag. We take the cost, $14.58, and we divide it by 10. For the 25-pound bag, I'm going to write all these out, and then you can do the math for me. $19.50 divided by 25. And then $28.99 divided by 50. And we want to find the unit price for each one of those, then we'll compare. What's this first one? 1.458. So that means per pound it costs about $1.45 and 8/10 of a penny. How about this one?
0.78.
Say it again.
0.78. I know you put a 0 up there.
0.780.
Yeah.
Is that right? As I wasn't hearing you right. And then how about this one? Say it again. 0.579. Which one has the better unit price? Looks like the 50-pound bag, right? Because it's 0.57. So this one's about 57 cents per pound. This one's about 78 cents per pound. This one's about $1.45 per pound. So which one's the better buy? The 50-pound. Why might you not want to buy the 50-pound bag? Might be too big. Maybe you ain't got a place to put it. All right? Maybe you're buying dog food. Maybe you got this little bitty dog. It's going to take them forever to eat 50 pounds. Do you really want to have 50 pounds of dog food sitting around if it's going to take them months and months and months to eat it?
Yes.
Probably not. It's going to get stale. All right? Not to mention, and I know that none of you have this problem, but what other kind of animals like dog food? Mice and rats. All right? I know none of you have any problem with mice or rats in your house, but they like dog food. Just talking to somebody the other day, and they were telling me about how they got mice in their house, and guess what those mice were getting into all the time? The dog food. And they were finding little pieces of dog food scattered all over their house because the mice were getting in it and carrying it off somewhere and packing it away. So you might not want to buy the 50-pound bag even though it's the better price. All right, what we're going to do, get out your computers. A little different. We're going to do several things like this here at the end of the year. We're going to do this. If you need a battery, hopefully Mr. Poole's put them out there. Without me having to give you the detention. with us again, Mac? Quentin's not. Are they out there? They weren't out there yet?
No, there's
If it is dead, Tyler. Right there beside Kendrick. There's a plug in and there's a port right here underneath her bed. Caleb, I gave you one. Did I miss anybody? On this, listen closely. This is what you're going to do. Look at the top. I actually put on there I went online and found two things that I wanted to compare. I got a Doritos nacho cheese flavored tortilla chip party size and Doritos nacho cheese tortilla chips 9.75 ounce size. So those are two different sizes of the same thing. Don't get two different things. Don't try to say, okay, I'm going to buy a new car and I'm going to pick a Ferrari and a Chevy. Nah, what's a junk one?
And Cavalier wagon. You know.
Cavalier, all right? Don't try to compare two things like that. So on this, on mine, if you're looking at the top there, it just asks you questions down through here. What's the price of each? So for part A, we're just going to do mine real quick. Don't write any of this down on your paper. What's the price of my first item?
14.5.
I thought it said it didn't. It doesn't say on here, does it? Daggone it! I didn't copy it off. So part A, the price of my first item, it was $4.79. Wonder why that part didn't copy off. I thought for sure it did. And part B, the cost of my second item was $3. They had them on sale 2 for $6, I think. That's the answer to part A, the cost of each item. Part B says, how many units does each item contain? How many units are in the first item? Now, Alex, is when we're using those numbers. 14.5 ounces. And the second one? 9.75 ounces. Part D. I know I missed C. You can tell your English teachers. What is the unit price of each item? How are we going to find the unit price of the first item? Take 4.79 and you divide by 14.5. How do you find the unit price of the second item? $3 divided by 9.75. That's going to give you the unit price of each one. Flip over to the back, letter E. Says explain which is a better buy. You're going to have to explain that out. Which is a better buy? Whichever has the better unit price would be the better buy, right? Then F says tell one factor other than the unit price that might affect your decision which to buy. So you need to tell why might you buy, which one are you going to buy and give a reason why. Think you can handle that, Simon? Is Quentin going to have trouble handling it? Yeah, when his eyes are closed, makes it rough. Look up two things. I don't care what they are. Figure them out. Write them down on there. You're not sure about something, ask your neighbor. If you're still not sure, ask me and I'll try to help you.
What was that frequency?
You just gotta get on the laptop. Like that.
Battery's still not out there? Anybody using that plug-in cord over there?
Yeah,
You're using?
I don't know.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm
On my
using it.
own.
I think there's a cord right up front, or a plug-in right up front, isn't it?
Yeah.
Does anybody else need one? Is that a yes?
Can I plug this pencil sharpener?
Yes. Yeah, unplug whatever you need to unplug. Not trying to get you in trouble. Does anybody else have their charger with them? Because that's all I have. I thought I had more, but I don't see anyone.
Share side.
Is it completely dead? No.
Yeah, it was just like a live.
Hot dog.